Alexander Isak ends drought as Liverpool stop Drought with win at West Ham. For long spells nothing happened. At one point it was so quiet you could hear a distant plane droning by. But Liverpool will not care. Sometimes you have to get back on the horse however you can. And if that requires a stepladder, an awkward bunk from a scornful stable hand and an ungainly scramble into the saddle, so be it. Any sort of victory is welcome after 6 defeats in their past 7 league games, and one in which Britain's most expensive player finally scores his first league goal for the club even more so. The history books will record that Liverpool won their second league game in 71 days, that Alexander Isak scored his first league goal since his acrimonious move from Newcastle, and that Cody Gakpo added a late second with a smart swivel. But the history books did not have to sit through that first half. It is the nature of the London Stadium that bad games seem worse than elsewhere because everything seems so distant. And the nature of West Ham, in recent times, that there are a lot of bad games. The main intrigue came with the release of the lineups. As Liverpool's wobble became a blip, became a slump, the question was asked, what would it take for Mohamed Salah to be left out? The answer, it turned out, was 3 or more goals conceded in 3 successive games for the first time in 75 years. At some point, a flair player who leaves his fullback exposed is a luxury a team can no longer afford. Liverpool's shape returned to 4-3-1, with Dominik Szoboszlai taking Salah's place on the right. There was no danger of the industrious Hungarian not doing the legwork to protect Joe Gomez, whose selection at right-back was forced by the injuries to Connor Bradley and Jeremy. League Cup games excluded, it was Gomez's first start of the season and came despite him requiring an injection in his knee last week. That meant Florian Wirtz is the central creator, the role he was signed to play. The suggestion all season has been that this is the shape Slot wants for Liverpool. It was the shape he used in winning the Eredivisie with Feyenoord, and the summer signings make more sense in the context of a transition away from 4-3-3, but a 4-2-3-1. With a non-defender, such as Salah, was always a risk. That perhaps has been the biggest tactical issue for Liverpool this season. It was a post-Salah team with Salah still in it. Wirtz is yet to score or register an assist in the Premier League since his £100 million plus move from Bayer Leverkusen, but not. For the first time this season, he looked industrious and tidy without that translating into a huge amount of threat. His tendency to drift to the left means that there are some glimmers of a partnership building with Gakpo, but as yet he and Isak are not on the same wavelength. It was a long Virgil van Dijk pass aimed at Gakpo that almost brought a breakthrough for Wirtz 6 minutes before half-time as Aaron Wan-Bissaka's attempt to intercept fell for him. There was nothing wrong with his shot side-footed towards the bottom corner. But Wirtz at the moment is in one of those spells where nothing quite goes right, and Alphonso Areola got down well to make a stretching save. This was Isak's 5th start of the season as Slot continues to try to play him into form. Although that decision was perhaps made easier by the back injury that forced Hugo Ekitike off against PSV. He came close to scoring his first league goal for Liverpool after 21 minutes with a spectacular falling volley. But Areola starfished in front of him to beat the ball away. That long-awaited first goal did, though, finally arrive on the hour. A corner was half-cleared. Wirtz refused to be panicked into a cross and slipped in Gakpo, and his cutback was fired in first time by Isak. It will be a long time yet before he pays off his £135 million fee. But this was the finish of an extremely high-class player. All the focus may have been on Liverpool, but the goal made clear that West Ham, for all their little spike in form, are also very ordinary. They were not helped by Lucas Paqueta being sent off after collecting 2 bookings for dissent in quick succession. Solidity in the failings of others may be enough to save them, but they are still a long way off making the fact that they had the 9th highest average attendance in the world last season any less bewildering. Liverpool will surely improve. Confidence will return. At least some of the new signings will settle and they will adapt to the new shape. Liverpool will celebrate the win. But this was a poor game of football. Mohamed Salah still in Liverpool's plans, says Arne Slot. Arne Slot played down the significance of his decision to leave Mohamed Salah out of Liverpool's 2-0 win at West Ham on Sunday. Salah had been selected for every league game for which he was available since a 2-2 draw at the London Stadium in April 2024, when Jurgen Klopp was still manager. But Slot was keen to stress that this does not mean that the pro-Egyptian's time at the club is coming to an end. I get this question a lot, Slot said, referring to occasions when he has omitted Florian Wirtz, Alexander Isak, who scored his first Premier League goal for Liverpool on Sunday, or Hugo Ekitike, and suggesting that one of his vaunted forwards is always going to be left out. Mo has had an unbelievable career and will have a very good future at this club because he's such a special player. But when you have 4 games in 10 days, then you have to decide once in a while on a certain lineup. However, Slot, honest to a fault and having already offered the schedule as an explanation, could not help himself from providing tactical insights as well. The way they set up with a fullback that's constantly high and a winger who's inside, I thought this would help the team, he said. The implication being that he doubted Salah's capacity to perform the necessary defensive work. Slot spoke of relief after just a second win in 8 Premier League games, but was far from euphoric. In terms of result, it is of course very good. he said. But there were also a few things similar to other games. We couldn't score our first chances. But the good thing is that for the first time in many games, the first chance of the opponent didn't go in, and was in the 90th minute and was the only chance they had. Liverpool's head coach expressed his gratitude to fans who chanted his name. It means a lot, he said, and says a lot about the club and about the fans. That's special. And not just from 1-0, but from start to finish. That says this club is all together. Nuno Espirito Santo refused to be drawn on the subject of Lucas Paqueta, who was sent off with 6 minutes remaining after collecting 2 yellow cards for dissent in quick succession. It's hard to play against a team like Liverpool with one man less, he said. I want to have a private conversation with him. Try to understand. I think it's unfair to make any kind of comment without the chance to speak to him. Post-game, the Brazilian, who was cleared of spot-fixing charges in July at the end of a lengthy investigation, offered his own perspective. He posted on X, "It's ridiculous to have your life and career affected for 2 years without any psychological support from the Federation. Perhaps this ridiculous behavior is just a reflection of everything I've had to endure and, it seems, have to continue enduring. I'm sorry if I'm not perfect." Paqueta launches outburst at football authorities after West Ham read against Liverpool. West Ham's Lucas Paqueta hit out at a lack of psychological support from football authorities in an astonishing online outburst in the wake of his bizarre sending-off late on Doria's side's 2-0 defeat by Liverpool. The 28-year-old midfielder, who was left in limbo for 2 years during a Football Association investigation into allegations, was shown 2 yellow cards, both for dissent, within seconds of one another by the referee Dar in England. Players from both sides had tried to cool Paqueta's protests following the initial caution, but after seemingly being successfully ushered away, he returned to harangue the official once more and was sent off. The Brazil international was finally cleared of the FA charges in July, but the case likely caused a mooted £70 million move to Manchester City to stall in the summer of 2023. Writing Portuguese on X, Paqueta initially said, "I understand that now I have to come across as the villain. It's hard to live with everything that's been caused in my life and in my psyche. I'll keep trying to ensure they don't affect me even more. This doesn't justify my expulsion, and for that I apologize to the fans and my teammates." This was then followed by a reply to a post from the Sky Sports Premier League account, which featured a clip where Rob Green, the former West Ham goalkeeper on punditry duty for the broadcaster, referred to his red card as ridiculous behavior. His time writing in English, Paqueta posted, "It's ridiculous to have your life and career affected for 2 years without any psychological support from the Federation. Perhaps this ridiculous behavior is just a reflection of everything we had to endure and, it seems, have to continue enduring. I'm sorry if I'm not perfect." Post-match, West Ham's head coach, Nuno Espirito Santo, lamented the difficulty of playing with 10 players. With Liverpool having gone on to double their lead 8 minutes after Paqueta's dismissal, "It's hard to play against a team like Liverpool with one man less," he said. "I will not go much further on comments of the situation. I hope you understand. Just allow me to speak with Lucas first and try to understand. I want to have a private conversation to try to understand. I think it's unfair not to make any kind of comment without a chance to speak with him."